So simple sorting. Maine had 24,000 records. Florida, which I worked on yesterday with somebody, had, I think it was 350,000 records. So if you happen to have a tiny state, smaller than Maine, and you have, you have one of the Dakotas or something with only several thousand records, you could actually go through and eyeball things. But if you have 350,000, you can't go through and eyeball anything. But if you did want to eyeball things, you can sort, and you can do a one-item sort or a multi-item sort. And if we want to do I'll just show you the one-item sort first. You go up and find data, and then you can find these functions that allow you to sort. You can click on the A to Z, and it will sort based on whatever column you're in, from A through Z, or from 1 through infinity. Or you can do the reverse, from Z to A, from Z to A alphabetically, or from biggest to smallest numerically. One key thing to make sure you don't do is, say I wanted to sort by city. I don't want to put it alphabetically A to Z on city. A temptation a lot of people have is they think that because I'm sorting by city, I then define the city column and then do the sort. Excel tries to stop you from doing that because that's a kind of a common mistake that people make. But if you kind of plow through that anyway, then what ends up happening is that this column will be sorted from A to Z, but all the other stuff stays the same. So then all of a sudden everything is mismatched. So this $149,900 that's attached to some company in Berwick, all of a sudden this could be attached to some company, whatever the first city is in the state, beginning with A. So it totally screws up your data. So just know that if you want to sort, you don't define the column, you just put your cursor somewhere on the column that you want it to be sorted on. And then I'm going to sort. I can show you this way to do it, then I'll show you how to do a multi-direction one. I'm going to sort A to Z, and you can see the main ones are not sorted. Any numeric ones are listed first, and so this means that this is a street address that's in the wrong column, in the wrong field. But then we go to Abbott, Acton, and we go through all the main names from A to Z. It looks like most of these are pretty well standardized. A lot of times when you get something like this, even something like the city names might not be standardized because some of them may have Arundel Township, or some of them might have City of Arundel, and then other ones will just have Arundel. But it looks like everything is fairly standardized here, which is good. Until I really looked at all of them, I couldn't say for certain that they're all standardized, but it looks like it's in pretty good shape. So in doing it this way, you could start to eyeball loans to people in Abbott, and you can get a sense of what their companies are and the number of jobs saved and so forth. If I want to do a multi-direction sort or a multi-item sort, I'm going to go up and hit the sort box right here, and it gives you this little wizard. And if I know that I want to sort by 2 items, I'm going to add a level. Then I'm going to say my first sort is by city. I'm going to sort on cell values as opposed to sorting on cell color or font color or anything like that. I'm just going to sort by values, which means either the numbers or the alphabet. And I'm going to sort from A to Z, from A to Z. Then I want to sort on loan amount. And I'm going to sort on values, and I'm going to sort from largest to smallest. And then I'm going to click OK. And then you can see I have the Abbott ones sorted from biggest to smallest. And then it gives me all the Acton ones sorted from biggest down to the smallest. And you can see you have all the towns in the state alphabetized that way. This multi-item sort, you can make it as complicated as you wanted. You could sort by city, and then by zip, and then by NAICS code, and then by type of business, and then by loan amount. And unless you're dealing with a big city, this will end up kind of being nonsense. But you can have as many or as few of these levels as you want. So this one, I'll search for. I'm going to just manually go down to Portland. So now now we have Portland, which is sorted by city, and then it's sorted. I sorted it by zip code, so you can see these zip codes. Oh, this is incomplete zip code information, so that's something else. Oh, okay, I know what happened there. I will address that in a second. This is something we need to fix when we import. We only have 4 digits in the zip code, which means either there's a 0 at the beginning of it or a 0 at the end of it. And let me show you how to do a better import on that so we don't have that problem. But we have all these zip codes that are together. And then we have the NAICS code. All the NAICS codes are together, and then the type of company is all together. So you could do this, multi-direction sort, basically. So let's just look at the Florida data. So if we want to do filter, I just, if you're a reporter in Florida and you want to, just find all the cases, all the records in, Coral Springs. I want to do a filter. Allows me to just show the cases from Coral Springs. I go up to data, then I go click on filter, and then you can see it puts these little down arrows right next to each field name. And if I click on that, you can see a couple things. You can see there's a bunch of zip codes that are in here because those are filled out improperly. So there's some of these city names actually have the zip codes in it. Some of them actually have the street addresses in it. But then we get to the city names, and there are lots of city names in Florida. Good, Key West. Key West is fun. So I'm able to filter just into Key West ones. Looks like we got quite a few for Key West. If you look over on the left-hand side, you see these row numbers have been turned blue, and there's this like little gap in between. That means that's signaling to you that there are additional records between this one and that one. So you can see the numbers let you know that there's 500 other entries between this one and this one, and also the little gap lets you know that there are these big gaps between them. If what I want to do is I just want to analyze the Key West entries, I can copy the entire thing and paste it onto a clean worksheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new worksheet. You create a new one and call it Key West. Then I'm going to go back to my results of the filter. I'm going to define the entire worksheet. And I'm just going to do a right-click copy. So then you can, with these little racetracks here, you can see it's picking up everything. It's just a copy and paste function. Then I'm going to go over to the clean worksheet, and I'm going to paste it there. And then you can see we have all the Key West ones in one place. I'm going to expand the column so I can see everything using the auto column fit. And you can see we have all the Key West ones from biggest down to smallest. So we have, a little over 1,400 Key West entries down to 264. I'm going to do the freeze panes on this again. Once you're in this, you can do additional filters. from the main worksheet, I'm just going to hit escape to get rid of, click on this to get rid of that filtering. You can do, you can do multi filters. I could filter by, city and filter by NAICS code. I don't know what these NAICS codes are, but I'm going to find, anybody in Key West with the NAICS code of 238110, and there's 2 of them. And you could do, you can do as many filters as you want. I mean, as many filters as there are columns. Sometimes, if the number of options is so huge that basically the filtering function can't kind of process them all, it'll basically say there are too many categories to filter. But if you're looking at state names or looking at state zip codes, that's not going to be a problem.